Yes, you hit recording button. Stop. What is going on, everyone? I'm here, ready for the LEC finals. We're going to be going over the best of 5 between G2 and when I find... There we go. Found the right. Found the right. Okay. So we're going over G2 and XL. Just gonna hit play. Hope for the best. Kind of just finished with everything. So we're gonna go straight into draft for game 1. I just had to quickly make the thumbnail for this video, which was pain leg to do because it took forever to load it. I had to do updates. Anyway, we're kicking off this draft. G2 are on blue, removing some actual big picks. I'm surprised there is no Sejuani ban out from G2, because Peach actually just smurfed on that during the Fnatic series. They've also banned out Odo's Rumble, which was very prevalent. And last ban, I mean, you've got Maokai up and available. Vi is a pick that's still up, but has somehow not been banned. I'm presuming it's fallen off since the start of playoffs. Anyway, Ivan, Nico, and what else? Well, Rel's up and available, Maokai's up and available. So it looks like they're probably going to be traded off here between the two teams. Unless XL force the ban. Kaiser's up as well. And this is interesting. So Kaiser, Rel, and Maokai all up. So G2 will have their pick of the litter, and then you expect XL to pick the other two. It's a simple trade overall of these picks. And G2 look to be prefacing the Rel. Makes some sense because that's a lot of hard engage that you're kind of denying away from XL. And then if they got Maokai Rel, that would have just been torture for G2 to deal with. Now, you should expect here the second rotation Kaiser Maokai or Maokai Kaiser from XL. It's sort of their go-to combo. Well, even though I don't really associate Kaiser with XL. However, still a good pick. It should be picked up here. G2, I mean, Zaya's up and available, though I don't expect it out from Hansama. Draven's technically up. That Jace, I forgot, is a power pick at the moment for teams, because Fnatic are flexing it at the moment. And XL kind of following suit with that pick. G2 now have the option for the Kaiser themselves, which I'm pretty sure they'll lock in. It makes some sense because you have the option of going AD or AP with this champion, and it's just a menace on either side. Because AP, you just fire out Ws and just take health bars of opponents. And personally, I think the great thing about Kaiser is it's a flex. You can flex it between mid and AD. So we've seen the likes of Larson play it, and also it sounds like a champion in the Caps wheelhouse. However, he's going to be piloting Ahri, and I'm kind of sad G2 lock in the Ahri here, because, I mean, yes, you're probably going to see it banned out in the second phase if G2 let it through, but the fact is you have the Kaiser who could be flexed down to the bot lane or in mid. And I mean, yeah, I'm not thinking the Jace matchup's very good for her, but it's still the option to play that champ. So G2 gonna kill off one of their flexes. Ban phase time, jungle's probably gonna see some attention. as well as top lane, because there's like the Kennen up and available, Renekton's up and available, Ornn if you want to go a bit more tankier. So maybe G2 throw a couple of bans top. I probably expect the Kennen ban. That is another go-to pick for Odo, and you could get basically some AP that is sorely lacking due to an AD mid laner. Now, as a whole, G2 are going to actually remove the Rakan, not going to allow that power pick. What else is there? There's Nautilus, because it is a tank or engage heavy meta in the bot lane. G2 could honestly throw 2 bans towards the bot lane and get away with it, because I don't think they've been hit too hard with their pools being so massive. Yike falling this far through the draft is actually quite nice because of how many different things he's played this year. So with the ability for him to play a lot of different things, it's nice that he gets to go into 4-5 with the option of whatever. However, you do have to think that Maokai is already technically locked in. Could, in theory, have locked in earlier your counter pick, but G2 are saving it. And XL hovering the Braum, which I believe they will lock in. It's defensive, but you look at G2's comp. You deny the Rel engage alongside Maokai. You can kind of deny the Ahri and the Kaiser from getting into the backside. It's a good pick, considering G2 want to get on top of you, and you kind of have a good set of tools to deny that. And G2 are just going to continue to pile on the we want to get on top of you with a hell of a lot of dive. You got Sedge going to be diving from the side, Renekton on the flanks, you got Ahri dashing through your team, same with Kaiser, and then Rel's just going to be jumping directly on top of you to pull you apart. If G2's comp is any sign of how they want to play, you certainly want to avoid team fighting them in a front-to-back situation, because they'll be easily looking to get behind you. XL draft a lot of good disengage as well as engage tools from range. It's looking like a pick comp more than anything, because I think that they'll get pretty much destroyed in a team fight situation, because G2's damage output is so much higher if they're able to shut down the Jace. And Desire, I do think has a lot of damage in the kit, but not that it's not that impactful in comparison to what a Jace can do. So XL are very low damage in terms of AP, and I would say their AD damage is heavily reliant on 2 champions that can be bursted out quite quickly and effectively if G2 can get on top of them. So, as a whole, this draft, I'd say it's G2 favoured, though XL have built a comp that does scale quite hard and is looking to deal with the late game by using the ornaments that they get for themselves. So, we're going to be getting into game 1. And so, early game, relatively speaking, we're expecting probably not much action from either team. I think G2 will try to go for objectives early to kind of force XL to come to them. However, I could be very much wrong in that sense, because G2 and they'll probably just look for picks on the side and get them in bizarre methods. And obviously I've already seen the game and know the result, but this is going to be a bit more analytical for those who are new to this. We're going to be looking at how people play these champs and how effective they are around team fights. So we're starting off the game. We've got a fan start of sorts from G2, where they're covering a lot of the chokes. You're not gonna clear out a ward. So Kaiser will probably hit level 2 first in that bot wave. And that's huge for G2 because that almost means that they have pressure early as Mickey is forced to flash. But he's got Hex Slash, it's not that impactful. And there's also another wall kill over to the Ari. So there's definitely going to be a slight level advantage in G2's favor, especially on that Rel as well. She's been involved in 2 wall kills, so that's going to be huge for her. Now, as a whole, G2 probably gonna have a bit of a easier time topside to push out. Bot, as I say, should be level 1. Level 1 should favor XL, but 2 and 3 is where it starts to swing in favor of G2. Obviously, when Hans gets his first big item, it should be a bit more of an even state in terms of wave push. Judging by his ruins, as Abadage is getting ganked, forced flash early. That's a flash from Caps. Missing the charm, slightly wayward as it were. But going back to my point, Hans is the type of guy to build either version of Kaiser as a lovely Q from Mickey, excuse me. Not gonna get too much, but he is gonna back as the wave's gonna crash into the tower. Hans is gonna force that in. First back through for the support, and he's already got boots. It's a nice back early on. It means you can start to roam earlier and get between lanes quite quick. And already Mickey is paying a visit to mid. And this is kind of an interesting factor because he's looking to kind of contest this scuttle early. And it means that Peach can't path towards top. He is spotted here by the ward, which he spots himself, and he knows it's there. But so Abadage is going to play a bit more respectful, going to let Caps push the wave in, and Mickey's trying to relieve Caps so that he can get his first back in. That's why Mickey is hovering here, and now why Limit and Peach are hovering, because they don't want to allow this free back to Caps. Now, the wave is going to crash here, so Caps gets a reset. And so G2 actually played this quite well. The big thing is Hans also took a back in the bot lane, and he's not missing out on too much, but he is going to get there and have the wave probably pushing into him. Judging by the wave state, it's actually quite even, so it might just push back into XL. As just the casual trading between bot laners is happening. Taking a look at how the junglers have pathed. Yike started bot side, went up to top, and it's a similar sort of pathing from Peach. However, neither top laner have really interacted with one another apart from seeing each other in the mid lane. And I dare say, probably won't do much in terms of battling one another till maybe about 3 minutes from now. 2 for Herald, but I think it'll be at 3 minutes from now, just when we see the fighting. Yike already back on his clear in the bot side, and they're actually looking to contest a Drake. Or go for a play, because that XL bot lane is quite far up. G2 watching Patrick. I know we get a pause here, so I want to just see what happens, because I don't think we get a replay. So I'm just going to go back, because I'm intrigued how Mickey plays this. So Mickey's tagged by the winner's bite. It falls off. The chase down. That looks weird. So, just watch Mickey. He ease forward. He flashes. I'm pretty sure he Qs there as well. And misses. But the W lands, rooting down Patrick, who already used cleanse. He flashes. Mickey's slightly way too far forward. Yeah. Considering the fact that he didn't Q in that entire trade, I'm pretty sure he flash Qs, which looks weird. Yeah, that looks really weird. It's like he cancels his Q animation and just gets... Would that have mattered though? Landing the Q. No. I don't think it would have mattered if he landed the Q, because Patrick still would have flashed in response. Maybe it would have changed the fact that hands could have actually have been in auto attack range. But Limit does a good job in stopping Hansama from being effective in the fight. And Patrick does a good job getting the feathers down to allow his team to execute off Mickey for First Blood. But as a whole, that looked like an overcommit from G2 that shouldn't have happened. And just a really weird interaction with Rel. That's the easy way to word it. Anyway, what time are we now? We're 13 minutes. We're gonna skip all the way to 21. It's like a 7-minute pause. Didn't even realize it was that long of a pause. But yeah, we're getting into game once again. Judging by the fact Yike no longer has stacks from the Brawn passive, I assume that he got away pretty freely. Patrick now has some gold in his back pocket, gonna buy himself some boots and his Namori Noon Quiver. Cab's getting chased down. Yike's already roamed up from bot lane. Using the Spirit Rush, getting on top of Abba. This is a charm, but the Q is perfect from Caps. And that's the first kill over to G2. Broken Blade's actually doing a decent job on top side as well, getting himself plating. And Caps being Caps, already got himself a Dark Seal. That's the sort of thing you expect to see from a peak ADC in the LEC. Now, as a whole, game state right now, fairly even, though top side I think is where the big swing of gold is, in favour of one side, because the rest of the map seems, well, in favour of one side or the other, because bot lane should be in favour of XL, considering they got First Blood down there. But look at the fact, look at the gold in the middle of your screen. Hands is ahead, and you have to think that's largely down to the CS advantage he's picked up for himself. He's also got himself a turret plate, and that's basically where the gold is for G2. It's in the turret plates. They've been able to control lanes quite well early, even though they overcommitted slightly into a play, as Mickey looking to get on top of them. Not going to chase forward though. And that's actually an interesting thing about this G2 squad that I didn't really think about. The combination of Rel and Kaiser. The fact is, Rel lands a Q, that applies a stack of plasma. Meaning, that Hans Sammer's able to get in on a target without having to overextend to get the stack down. And you don't really think about it as the game is happening. But yeah, Hans Sammer has a very good combination of champions on his team to get him into the backline. And he's not having to be the one to get that. Because you've got Sedge who can land Qs, the R. You've got Ari with the charm. Renekton has his slice and dice to get in there with his W. Basically all of G2 set up for Hans Sammer in this game, whom is building Kraken Slayer, presumably. It seems like more of a Kraken Slayer build type game instead of Static Shiv, as Odo forced the ult to clear the wave. Broken Blade gonna get the stack off the tower though. And the money is just being fed into that top lane. And BB's not even got that large of an advantage in terms of CS. He's ahead by a bit, but not the largest amount. And it's kind of him just winning in isolation as well. Now, we did have a trade of objectives as Herald went over to G2. You also had, that's Glacial Fissure you used, but you also had the Drake go over to XL, and Patrick and Limit already backing up. Caps is lurking. This is the sort of thing though you expect from G2. Caps making roams to try and get his team ahead. Because let's be honest, the fact that G2 killed Abadage, it allowed Caps to control the lane and make these sorts of roams. And the fact that he made this roam and he's still even, he gets nothing, but he's in a decent position where it doesn't really matter. And so G2 just continue to control the early game. And you wouldn't have thought this was impactful. However, it does mean that they keep XL down, as a good play coming out from XL here to try and kill off Broken Blade, who eventually falls. You do have to think though, what are XL giving up? Committing 3 members top as the CC chain of death from G2 lands. Flash out from the Ral, who's going to have to tank the Bramble, the Nature's Grasp, and boom. Dead. It's a 2-for-1 so far off this play. A lot of summoners though being invested by XL to get them plays. However, G2 are just giving up 2 kills. They got themselves a kill in the mid lane. They're going to trade that for turret gold in the bot lane to get Hans Sammer a bit more further ahead, who is tagged by the Winter's Bite, not going to be killed though. As a whole, G2, well, a bit sloppy in positioning, are going to just continue to maintain the tempo and the gold lead they have. You would have thought giving over 2 kills for 1 would have been basically XL favored, but G2 somehow find a way to turn it into a play where they end up with literally a 300 gold lead, which has come off them turret plates. It's just good reactionary play from G2 that keeps them ahead. And a lot of teams in the LEC get criticized for being not very reactionary to how the opposition play and how they try to exert a lead or get goal back. G2 are one of the most proactive teams in the league. Like, this right now is a proactive play. They're getting pressure down onto Patrick. They're forcing his summoners out constantly. It's just a perfect Magnet Storm from Mickey. His Rel is gorgeous. His Caps continues to charge down onto Abadagi, who TP'd him nonetheless. And he's just dead. Burst out, killing spree over to Caps. And you think proactivity and reaction from this one squad makes them so good and dominant in the LEC. It's, yes, sometimes the crazy picks that get them into advantageous positions, but this is a proactive play. And Peach is trying to react to the fact that he knows G2 will be on the Drake, but G2 just react quicker and deny his entry. Anyway, here Caps TP's in. He Spirit rushes forward twice. The stun comes through, and Mickey just goes headfirst in. He doesn't care if he dies. His job, lock down the bot lane, and he does so. Caps then just lands the damage with the charm into the Q, into the Sedgel, because why not? And down goes the XL mid laner as an extension of play. Now, G2 gonna give up the second Herald over to Patrick, who picks that one up. And this is something I prefer. Is it when bot laners pick up Herald? Because this means that you can give isolated gold over to your ADC without essentially overcommitting, like a jungler to get extra gold. I mean, yeah, it's useful your jungler getting gold, but you'd prefer solo cash into your ADC because they're your main damage dealer. And I do prefer it when teams give over Herald to the ADC. Anyway, taking stock of items. This is kind of something we need to do. Gore Drinkers picked up in the top lane versus Sunfire Bramble Vest. Odo clearly wants to deny Broken Blade. He's looking to stay in isolation in that matchup in the 1v1 because I'm presuming... Actually, that's probably not true. I think Jace would win out in the 1v1 between Broken Blade and Abadagi at this point in the game. Though it may be slightly closer. But yeah, XL want to keep Caps against Abadagi. Hence why he's built Merc Treads and some other things. But Caps, yeah, he's not cool. In fact, Yikes there as well means that it's easy escape for the G2 mid laner. One thing that does intrigue me is how teams put their laners as we enter mid game right now. Obviously, Odo, we said, is gonna look to stay against Broken Blade. Purely, if you look at the build, is a clear giveaway that G2, XL want to do that. It's heavily, Odo's heavily invested in armor and just negation of the Gore Drinker is what I would call it. Good W there from Hans to deny the back of Abadagi. G2 are going to get turret off this solely because they denied the back of Abadagi. Because he's forced to run away if he wants to back, and G2 just gets pushed away with 3. Simple play overall, as good use of the Q there, and the smite from Peach secures his camp. I I'm intrigued by the Braum build slightly. I would have thought you'd probably go Relic Shield, because I'm pretty sure you went Relic Shield, yes. And I would have thought it would be more impactful against a team comp that G2 has, where the Rel drags targets together, so having a shield that goes early would be slightly more impactful. That's just my thoughts though. Instead, it is just going to be a hero. Because Mickey tagged up, stunned, forced to crash down the lane. XL setting up pressure in the mid lane, looking to get themselves this second Drake for themselves. Combat Gold is in favor of G2, but TP gonna come in from behind. Broken Blade is gonna be chased down by XL. Aegis Graph thrown forward into G2, but the crash down into the Magnet Storm is gonna pull in all of XL as Caps end up on a rampage. It is gonna be a 1-for-1, make that a 2-for-1 as G2 look to clean up the fight. They've caught out all 4 members as a triple kill goes over to the Ari. As Caps looks to chase down Mabadage, gonna miss the charm as Hanshammer comes over the wall to clean that one up. It's an ace for G2 in the Drake pit. That was a quick replay, but essentially XL spot the TP coming in from Broken Blade, turn immediately onto him, forces his dominance out, and he's like, I'm gonna have to trade this. Dashes through, gets a nice injection of heal health, but he gets flashed on by Abadage, and that's a trade. Kills 1-for-1 as Odo already is dead. You think he's invested a lot of armor, so Caps is just able to shred through him quite easily with the Qs and the Ws, just isolate onto him. Overall, Caps is a threat, and that Dark Seal we were discussing earlier, in typical Caps fashion, he's already got a Medjais with 10 stacks. He's transformed it. He's looking to get that fully stacked up. 6-0-5 so far. He's got a 2.2k gold lead on his own. And that's a huge thing for G2, considering the fact that they are positioning for this Baron. 21 minutes in, they've started this up. Odo in the bot lane has got TP, maybe forced to bring it in, and he is. But G2 have caught out Patrick. They're gonna catch out the Braum. That's another kill over to them. Peach is next in the sight line of G2 as Caps lands the charm, locks him down for the double kill for Broken Blade. And Odo, he goes in. He's looking to secure a kill, but Yike will not fall, and Abadage is gonna fall instead. A clean ace for G2 without losing anyone. Turning straight towards this Baron once again. This should be theirs. It's just pure and utter chaos when it comes to fights. But the fact is, you've got Patrick caught out by the Sigil, gets jumped on immediately by Broken Blade and locked down. G2 have a wombo combo of stuns, so when they get on a target, it's very hard for that person to get out to safety. And XL, they've got no real peel for their team. Braum's meant to be there to do so, but he's unable to. He's just too squishy at this point in the game. G2 just shred through his health bar, and it doesn't help that he hasn't invested in any magic resist other than the partial bit you get from Evershroud. It's not looking good for XL right now, as G2 just have a clear path forward to win the game. They've got Baron looking to siege up into the bot lane. Drake's up in 2 minutes 20. They're looking to possibly get themselves a third one. It is Infernal Soul, which is a huge soul for G2 if they get it. It's a huge soul for XL if they get it as well. But G2, firm control of the game right now. They don't want to let this one get to late the stages of like 40-50 minutes where XL become a bit more of a threat, with the fact that ornaments will come through to buff up the ADC, to buff up the mid laner. Abadage, he may be 1-5, he's got his upgraded Dust Blade, so he's going to hurt like a truck, but he's caught out, charmed up, bursted out. Yike's going to secure that one. It's just clean from G2. They're punishing members who are in the wrong position, and they're already in the base of XL, 24 minutes on the clock. Peach is caught out next, going to be locked up. Hansama just free firing in. He is godlike. Broken Blade diving under the tower, Featherstorm used already, but Caps is there. He's locking down the targets. It's a triple kill over to Hansama. Will he make it for? It's going to be guaranteed to be a quadra kill. And Hansama and G2 are in the base of XL, looking to finish this one off right here. Will it be a pentakill? As Abadage, he's dancing on the fountain. He's locked up. Broken Blade falls. G2 turning back to the Nexus Towers, looking to end this one off here. As Abadage flashes back, he's not going to give it. Instead, G2 are going to get the fountain. Let's just talk about the last stage of the game. This is like a complete explosion, because I'm pretty sure XL know the game's over. I think a lot of teams at this point know the game's over. G2 are Baron, and you're slowly bleeding out. You've got a fully stacked up Magi's on Caps. I mean, it's not fully stacked, but it's basically fully stacked. You would think that Abadage could be a bit more threatening with the Dust Blade being upgraded. Ornn's now starting to upgrade his team, and you know, he's actually quite close to being able to level up Patrick, who I may have thought would be a slightly bigger damage deal at this point in the game comparative to Abadage. So you could have upgraded him more quick blades. To be fair, I'm not really sure on the ornament priority, but this part of the game, you're dealing with constant W's from Hansama. I mean, they're not the big impactful Plasma Blast AP build, Bullets of Death that we eventually will see, but they still do a chunk of damage. Now here, XL, this is weird. You've got 5 members bot side, you see Caps is killing your mid wave, and so typically in this situation, you wouldn't have 5 members here. You'd definitely send someone over to deal with it. You can't go that way, because you know G2 are there. So relatively speaking, who came out base last is the real question. How long were XL down here? They look to have been down here a long time. Okay, so here's the last phase where we got Odo in the mid wave. And then XL just decide, okay, we're gonna go over there. Makes no sense to me why you would do this. You now brought 5 members in. You know Caps is mid. He's freely pushing in. The logic is not there from XL there. It seems like you're giving up the game. Caps is dealing with the wave, you see him there. You need to rotate someone. But Peach and Odo can't go that way. They're scared of being jumped on by Yike and then Mickey. So they're just letting Caps push. It's bizarre. Because XL can't go for a play here. Baron is too strong. Now when Abadage rotates over, he's just caught. Realistically speaking, you should have sent 2 members. Like, Peach is coming, but he's just too far away. So, Yike gets a kill, 3. Now it's a 4v5, so Caps gets to continue pushing mid, uncontested. Excel are kind of forced into a bad fight, because it's technically it's a 3v4, but like, Broken Blade's here to kind of deny it. It's weird, so Broken Blade's zoned away, so it's technically a 4v3. But Peach is already caught out and killed, and Hansama was just free fire. XL are now in a bad place because Broken Blade's diving them on the tower. He couldn't get in to kill off Peach, but he can get in on it. He gets in, and well, he's just tanking. He's got so much health and shielding. He just tanks the turret for his team and gets out. He'll back TP in. This is just poor from XL. I'm just gonna say it. It's poor. They should have defended the base better. Regardless, let's look at game number 2. This is the interesting one for me, because this looked a bit closer than game 1. However, I'm going to be brutally honest, it still ends in the same result, and clearly you have to notice there's going to be a mistake from G2. G2 always play with mistakes, by the way. So, into draft we go for game 2. Immediately, I already see a mistake from XL. They're sticking on red. Me no like that. The fact is, I get why you do it because you guarantee yourselves 2 OPs, but you're giving over Rel. And Rel, I think, has been the most impactful champion during playoffs. Hands down, the most impactful champion. It's just the constant engage and lockdown that you're guaranteed with this pick is making it too powerful for teams. So, will XL ban it? No, they banned the Nico. I mean, it's a Caps pick, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's his best pick. I think you should really be banning out the Rel as your second rotation, because the fact is G2 are banning the Poppy, meaning you're unable to stop the dive through. You're unable to stop the dive that G2 want to go for. So deny them the Rel. You then technically have to deal with probably a Nautilus, but you still keep away the champion that deals the most harm. It's just bizarre. These bans to me make no sense. Like, they make sense in a way that doesn't. Because G2 obviously, Caps plays this, he plays it well. Yike is technically one of the better islands in the league. And then Trist is just flex. We've seen G2 flex Lucian more than the Tristana. We've seen a lot more preface on other champions for Yike. Obviously we don't have scrim results or information other than how many people cancel G2 games and their win rate overall. But like, this draft already screams red flags to me. And I think drafting has sucked this year in the LEC. Considering the amount of games we've watched and broken down, one of Europe's weakest parts for their teams is drafting. I look at teams end up with absolute rubbish the drafts. And yeah, sometimes they win, but the majority of the time is losses. And I'm pretty sure if I were to watch every single series, like, or game this year, chances are that the reason one team beat another was they just had the better draft. And already the fact that G2 clearly laid their game plan of playing around the rel and have done it basically for 2 games here. They pretty much did it against XL last weekend. Like, I'm actually going to look at this now for you guys. Because this intrigues me. LEC Summer Playoffs. Show up G2 website. Stats. Oh look! Rel picked up for G2. Oh look! Rel picked up for G2. G2 ban Rel. I'm pretty sure that's their red side game. Actually, I'm actually going to check. Bans Rel. Bans Rel. The fact is, I'm pretty sure game 4 and 5. Games 3, 4, and 5, G2 are on red. They're on blue for 3. What the flip? They're on red for 4. They're on blue for 5. I don't remember that series being like that. Regardless, this is game 3, not game 2. We've already have an understanding of how G2 will play. It's around the realm. Maokai's trade, though. And I think Maokai is a good trade, in the sense that it provides zone control. But you need a better dive path. And you need to be able to set up the fights. In that game that we just broke down, there wasn't any real 5v5s. And my camera's turned off. Nice. But essentially, the drafts looked hard. That's what we can ascertain from that game. And I, for one, think this draft so far